Ladies and gentlemen, K Kim here. Welcome to the daily update. Hope you guys had a good day trading today. Market is down a little bit. We got the S&P 500 down 0.7%. I think Nasdaq is up about 0.7% also, or up 7%, 0.7%, while the S&P is down 7%, 0.7%. We did see surge in a stock like Apple and Amazon today. Banks are down a little bit heavier today, down 2% on the banks. I think Russell 2000 on about 1%, Dow also about 1% there. So I think what's been really going on here in the last couple of days, it's been just the battle of the gaps. Let me explain here. So yesterday on the last night's daily update video, we talked about how there's a slightly gap up right here, right? And this gap was never filled, right? This gap never got filled. And when the gap doesn't get filled all the way, even though you can see that when there's a slight gap up, the first hour, this was yesterday's trading, we did see the surge. At one point, this candle looked like that, green, deep green. And then you can see sellers came in, brought it down, but never was able to fill this gap right here. We hang around. That made the price thrust higher throughout the day yesterday. What happened today? Here's what happened today. So there is the gap down, and this was rather sizable gap down. You can see that was about almost 1% gap down. So that was a 1% gap down on the S&P this morning. And then what happened was we zigzagged a little bit in the first hour, right? That was the first hour trading of today. Today's Tuesday, 9th of June, right? And then what happened was the gap got filled. You see that? So what happens when the gap gets filled? It acts as instant support, right? So that gap got filled, and that's the reason why we did not see continuation to the downside. This is a reason why we've been tracking gaps entire rally in the last couple months here, right? Because I mean, that's pretty significant gap down, about a 1% gap down there. And as soon as that gap, that gap was filled, we did see that first 3 hours of rally, right? That's first hour, second hour, third hour, fourth hour. Okay, so we filled that gap, buyers showed up, that level acted support, we got back above that 320 level, right? And then at one point, this candle looked pretty bullish here, but towards the final hour, we did see some selling pressure. And then this was the next hour. We continued on to 320. We found support yet again at 320, right? 320 there. Bulls brought it back up. We saw continuation on the fourth hour. And then that's a fifth hour. And that's the last hour. It looks like last hour, the early trading session of last hour, we did see, you see that long upper wick there? We did see a green candle going up like that. You see that? And towards the end of the day, end of the hour, we did see a pullback here. Why did we pull back? Do you remember what I said here? When this gap up was not filled, that's bullish, right? That's what we talked about yesterday, right? So the same logic applies, but this time it's inverted, right? So now this down gap, bulls should have filled that entire gap. It would have been better for the bulls in the short term. Well, we got that little bit of gap left now. So that's going to make things a little bit hectic going into next couple days here. Because if, again, first of all, the gap still remaining, the down gap. We filled partial gap, but we were not able to fill entirety, or the partial gap, but we were not able to fill the entirety of it. So there were about three, attempts there to fill the gap, was not able to get above 322. And that became a resistance, just like when this right here, that bullish gap was not entirely filled. Even the bears, remember, look at those upper wick there. Bears tried it a couple times, and then they brought it up. Bulls got up, failed to fill this gap 3 times, tried it, not working out, and then last hour we did see a little bit of fade there. So what can we expect going into tomorrow? There's a couple things can happen. Well, I think because here, let's look at this for a second. We've been tracking this oscillator here quite some time here now. Because we are at that oscillator support, right? So let's zoom out a little bit so we can see the kind of a whole picture there, right there. So you can see that we're right at that level here. I'll give you guys a visual. That's the visual there. That's the visual there. We're just right at it. Here, 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 here. That's what I call oscillator higher lows, right? When you see an oscillator higher lows, that trend is well established and is strengthened. There's a lot of momentum to the upside. That's what that oscillator represents. Because oscillators are meant to oscillate back and forth. They don't go up and down, creates higher low. They usually go all the way back up to overbought level, come all the way back down to oversold level, overbought, oversold, overbought. That's what they normally do in a normal situation. This is telling us that we're not in a normal situation. We've been covering this for the last couple of weeks. So anyway, so because of this, we're at the support. Buyers might attempt to try to fill that gap that was not filled from this morning. Obviously, bears, maybe we don't know that yet. We still want to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers. Bears don't want this oscillator to continue in this fashion, because if this thing gets back up here, that's not a good news. Let's check the performance. Every time we hit these levels, let's check the performance, right? Last time from here to the overbought level, that's 7.66% performance. From here to the overbought level, that's about 5%. From here to next overbought level, that's almost 7% run there. But you see how price got higher, 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 and that pullback got shallower, shallower, and shallower. And that's what that higher lows on this oscillator represents. So this is not a level that bears do not want to see. This oscillator holding in this support level. And I don't want you to be so obsessive with that perfect level, because you know it could come down a little lower or something like that. But as long as this oscillator doesn't come all the way back down below this level, then we can continue to say that's a higher low. But if he start breaching below that, then there's a good chance it's going to come right back down to oversold level. That's what bears want to see. Bears want to see this support not holding. Kind of, you know, maybe pause a little bit, but just continue to fall down and come and looking something like this right there, right? Looking something like that. That's what bears looking for. With that, you might see price action continue to drip lower, right? Continue to drip lower. If not, we bounce from here. Bulls gonna try to fill this gap, and look at these performances here. We barely pull back. I mean, that's no pullback. We pretty much been moving sideways. There's no pullback here whatsoever. There was pullback. There was this pullback. There was that pullback. There is no pullback. And we got to this level. See, that's the different part right now. And that's a very important part, because where is the pullback? We pulled back this much, and then we saw the oscillator coming down. We saw that pullback there, and we saw the oscillator coming down. We saw that pullback here, and the oscillator brought it down. We saw the oscillator coming down. Where the hell is the pullback? There is no pullback. There's no pullback. You know, bears, bulls really we're able to just move it sideways while the oscillator kind of rested to hit back to this support level. So this is very, very important going into this week. We really have to take a look at this and follow up on this every single day this week, right? Today's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we got 3 more days to look at it. It'll be very, very important because we start finding support here once again. You see this oscillator start bouncing back up. Well, the performance from that could be another 4%, and that's filling the gap at 333. We talked about that yesterday. So we'll have to come back and re-examine the situation because we're at a critical level right now. I think for mostly for bears at this point, because bulls have already gathered so much momentum, so much move to the upside. I think a lot of people are looking for the pullback. A lot of people are looking for some meaningful correction. Maybe they want to get back in. Maybe bears want to close out their shorts at some point. Maybe there's some profit taking occurring here in this vicinity, but market barely budged. As you can see, we were from this level, we're only down 0.75%, so we're barely down. And if we look at the longer term picture of things, my short-term moving average has not been retested. That's at 318.75. It's right here. That's the level that been acting as strong support every single time since middle of May. So almost a month, this short-term moving average been acting as support. So even if the bears are trying to bring it down tomorrow, that level is going to probably going to act as at least short-term support. But that's better because then you might see this oscillator kind of breaking below that finally. So I think at this point, bears really, really want to try to bring it down tomorrow. Gapping it down will be even better. Bulls want to find a support here, right? And continue and, trying to get up there. But it's this level is going to be very, very important level for both bulls and bears going into tomorrow. So let's follow up tomorrow. You can follow me at 2K Kim on Twitter and StockTwits. I've been updating some of my followers on my social media feed regarding this oscillator also. I share charts and things like that throughout the day when I deem necessary. I don't tweet every single hour, but here and there I'll pull out some charts and things like that. So you can follow me because if you don't want to wait around till tomorrow night after the market is closed until I give you an update, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm more active on Twitter than StockTwits, just to let you know. I will give you an update on this oscillator tomorrow on my Twitter feed, and then towards the end of the day, I will do another daily update video, and we'll analyze this oscillator and the price action together and see where the market is headed, right? So you guys enjoy your evening, and good luck trading tomorrow.